blah, blah, blah. And the guy came out and tried to tell us to turn our cameras off, looked at the cops. I said, it's a public commons. I was a so-called guest. There's no perception of privacy here. Same reason you got cameras. And he goes, well, you got to leave. And I said, well, give me my vouchers for my other hotel now, and made him go in and get that and just illustrated it all. And so I am calling for a peaceful, not flash mob, but First Amendment event. Call it First Amendment mob if you want, but the idea is that a group of people is a mob. Before it is officially shut down tomorrow, now is the time. Don't wait for orders from headquarters. Go to the sound of the Infowars. All activists, everyone, starting now, right through this evening, go into the hotel and engage in the evil crime of getting a glass of orange juice or a water or a hamburger if you wanted, or a salad. Go into the Wellington pub, go into the restaurant, ask questions, make contacts with people. Say, look, I know you're not going to talk to me now, but when you hear the evil, you see what they're doing, here's my card, here's my info. Get in touch with us. And again, we've got other sources. We don't even need those sources, but we have absolutely penetrated Bilderberg because they've penetrated us. They're on our home turf. They're in our country, destroying our country. They want Agenda 21. That's leaked. By the way, I've got some more of their agenda from my multiple sources, and I'm just collating it right now. Things are moving too quickly. We're going to continue to try to break all this down. Jim Tucker, who's just arrived in town, is going to be joining us from his hotel via phone. We're going to have Mark Anderson on as well. That's coming up. In fact, now that I think about it, why don't you invite Mark Anderson to just get both of them to drive over to our hotel? If not, we'll still do it over the phone, but it'd be better just to have them right here in the hotel with us. We're staying in a different hotel than them. We'll be right back with the rest of Bilderberg 2012. I got a lot of other intel for you. We are back live, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. It is Bilderberg 2012. I am less than a mile away from the Brooksfield Marriott, and I would normally be there until tomorrow morning when security starts getting real rude and saying leave, and then around noon or 1, Bilderberg attendees start arriving. Not now. They are running the backgrounds like it's an airport, like they're TSA. Foreign spooks are, foreign operatives, foreign intelligence community people, foreign ghost operators are in there, and they're screaming at people and getting in everyone's face and grabbing journalists, but also just regular people who are just there on their smartphones surfing, and they run over and physically grab them. That's America, because a bunch of global crooks want to meet with our politicians, their property, and get trillions of dollars more of our tax money and loot and rob the pension funds. That's all over the news. Bain Capital is just one small group of that. The media is focusing on that to make it a political football between Obama and Romney, to make it about them when they're just front men. And we're here covering this. Now, again, last night and this morning, I wrote a bunch of notes on the hotel notepad. I know it's old-fashioned. People type on their smartphones, but I'm not really good at typing. I'm pretty good at typing on a regular keyboard, but not with my fingers on a smartphone. So I had all these notes, and I've been looking around during the break, but basically I've tried to reconstruct most of my notes here. This is our country. You need to get out of here and stop acting like it belongs to you. Paul Watson has a big report where one of the big Bilderberg attendees, this premier out of Canada, openly wants the carbon tax. And yes, I've confirmed from my sources that indeed they are trying to figure out how to get the carbon tax resurrected. So let me write that, carbon tax resurrected. I just remember what one of my sources told me. We're getting the best intel ever out of this. Because people recognize this isn't our government anymore. In the past, people would just kind of go along with the power structure thinking it was kind of cool. People now get, from the police to you name it, hey, this isn't cool. This isn't cool. These people want to hurt me in my future. We're getting together against the enemy. So there's that. There's the big fence they've put up around it. The biggest issue is that they ran background checks on all their guests and threw most of the hotel out last night, and now they're throwing everybody out today. It was like, okay, your background check checks out to go to the Marriott days before the elite arrive, but now you've got to leave beforehand. So if your background check, whatever they made up, didn't check out, you had to leave immediately. But now everyone is not being allowed to check in today. They are evacuating it. The police said, well, one of them said on tape, he said, man, you've really stirred something up now. And off record, I talked to some of the cops, and they said, it's just incredible. They said, yes. I said, what is this about machine gun nests? And they said, no comment. So they are so scared, ladies and gentlemen, that a bunch of foreigners that own our government through fraud are holding up there, and the building is full of NSA, CIA, foreign operators. They were walking out while I was out there. I was shooting live streams of it and just looking at us with hate. And I started laughing at them. Like, you think you intimidate me? You think because you've got a shaved head and you're carrying a gun and that you've sold out to traitors that you scare me? Don't you guys understand something? I understand the danger. I get it. You think you're going to do that and then make me run away? It only makes me recommit to defeating you and defending this republic. Don't you understand I'm committed and the rest of this country's getting committed right now against you? Don't you understand we're going to take this country back and all of you collaborators are going to get jury trials? You will get jury trials, but all these prisons you built to put nonviolent offenders in, you're going in them. You're going in them. Or we'll allow you to leave the country, just like our forebears did when we won the war after 7 years, back at the start of 1776, 7 years later. 7 years later, you either went to prison or you left our republic. Big news coming up. Stay with us. Well, we're not the best it's ever been, but the American people have been the greatest it's ever been, and it's reawakening, where we are rediscovering our republic. Here's the deal. Jim Tucker and Mark Anderson of American Free Press, really the icon of exposing Bilderberg, Jim Tucker, and to a great extent along with him, Mr. Anderson, they are set to come on. Jim for 30 minutes in the next hour, Mark Anderson for 30 minutes the hour after that. But we were just talking to Mark during the break, that is, the crew was. We may just get them to come on over to my hotel. It's very close to the Bilderberg Hotel, and have them here in studio with us. But Jim is checked into his hotel. We've got a room here, and we've also got one at the hotel that Jim's at. So look for what's happening there. But after the show today, right through the evening, everyone, citizens, media, all of you are journalists. I suggest you go to Justin TV or you go to systems like Ustream, sign up. It's very easy with your smartphone, and just go in there live streaming. And you'll think it's like vampires at high noon. Now they'll have it with checkpoints shut down starting tomorrow. And what's amazing is there's no mainstream media out there yet. Though I do have a bunch of newspapers calling me. I should have brought a crew of like 5 people, but I just don't have that many people to bring. But I've got all these reporters calling me, and I need to call them. I mean, right now I need to tell these people I'm going to talk to them. Yes. Let me just talk about multitasking. Syndicated radio show. I'll say, call you soon. On air. I've got the biggest media in the country that we're talking to. Shout out to those folks again, and a bunch of other big media. So the dam is definitely breaking on this whole situation. I want to take your phone calls here on this subject or any of the other news. It's 800-259-9231, 800-259-9231. You guys can text me the numbers. What's amazing here is that they are so scared, they are so freaked out over journalists, over the fact that the American people know that 130 robber barons with about 50 of their guests are set to start meeting tomorrow at 1 p.m. and that the mainstream media for decades talked to us like we were lobotomized children and told us, hey, there is no such thing as a global elite that controls politicians. The buck stops with prime ministers and presidents. There's no insider deals. There's no scams going on. None of this is happening. There is no smoky room. There is no elite. There are no special interests. There is no corruption. And here we are, Jim after 35 years, myself after 17, and so many others, those of you listening out there that have taken action. Whether you sent somebody a video link to Endgame or whether you came out and protested or whether you called into talk radio and got made fun of. Nobody makes fun of us anymore. I go on international shows, national shows, local radio, TV, and they go, okay, there is a global elite. What are you going to do about it? Now, at least they just say, oh, you don't have any power. What are you going to do about it? That's their new propaganda tactic. Okay, what are you going to do about it? Okay, foreign banks took over Europe, took over the U.S. Okay, they are crooks. Okay, you're right. What you going to do about it? Well, we're going to go and expose these people, and we're going to expose them to the police and military and the entire system and say to the entire system, is this what you really want to be ruled by? Because these people want to destroy our economy worldwide so they can control it. It's a post-industrial system. These are eugenicists. People are learning what that means. They're like, oh, that's why my kid has got cancer at age 7. Oh, that's why I'm getting neurological disorders at 35. Oh, that's why my wife's got breast cancer at 40. Oh, wow, it's true. They really did put cancer viruses in the vaccines. Wow, Rockefeller Foundation, linked at Infowars.com. You know what? I don't like these people. You see, that's happening, and that's what we're doing. We're identifying, hey, get past Mitt Romney, Barack Obama, puppets come and go. Those people, they're the ones, the same rich, ultra-rich people lecturing us on how our taxes should be higher all day because they're so compassionate when they're the biggest recipients of corporate welfare. They get your money. They get your bailouts. Subsidiaries of Bill and Melinda Gates outfits, Warren Buffett, Bain Capitals, and USA Today, big recipient of government money. Obama and Romney. It's the same deal. It's a joke. It's a fraud. It's a Don King boxing match. It's a rigged Super Bowl. We know it's rigged. We're done. We're done. And so they're freaking out, running around telling hotel guests, you better watch it. We have machine guns. This is how pathetic our country's gotten. And again, we've got to admit we've gotten pathetic to ever turn it around. If you're an alcoholic, drinking half bottle of Jack Daniels every night and your liver's going to fail, the doctor says if you don't quit doing this, you're going to die. It's not negative to be told the truth. Or you're smoking 4 packs of cigarettes, you're getting emphysema, and the doctor says you better quit doing that, or you're going to end up dying in a few years. After you go on oxygen tanks, you better stop it. It's not negative to admit the problems we've got, to admit how far we've fallen to turn this around. People say, oh, be positive about things. I am positive. This is a great country. This is a great world. I want to build up humanity. I want freedom. I want to admire free market and rugged individualism and everything that's good, and the family. I saw where they arrested a preacher that spoke from the pulpit that spanking was good. Folks, spanking is legal in all 50 states. But people, I've been before when my kids are, a few times in the store start saying, I want this toy, just a few times. And I said, I'm going to take you out in the car and give you a spanking. Or I'm going to take you in the bathroom here. And my wife years ago been like, when we first had children, they were like, 3, 4, 5 years old. She's like, isn't that illegal? And my wife's super smart. And I'm like, no, the says that it's not. And, the point is beating them indiscriminately, causing bodily harm is, they're trying to arrest principals now who paddle people. Let me tell you something, that paddling worked on me. In fact, I should have had more of it. And again, it's because every mammal species does that. I've seen videos on the nature channels, where the baby seal keeps going over to the ice, where the whales breathe, where the killer whales are hunting, and the mama knows there's a killer whale under there. She can smell it, she can sense it, and the baby keeps going over there. And she comes over and barks at him and nudges him away. Comes over another time, she comes over and slaps on him with her flipper. Third time she comes over and bites him about 80% down his back. That's a mammal instinct to paddle or far away from the head and the eyes because you don't want to hurt them. It's an instinct in mammals. I have watched deer hunting does when and I've also watched from my back porch when a little fawn, that's a baby deer, folks, little white spots, Bambi, gets up and goes out in the field, and she's wanting him to lay down in the brush because there might be coyotes or something out there. And she'll come over and she'll push him away. But when they get older, they don't listen. And I've seen them kick them, and yes, bite them. Now, are we going to have CPS go take the deer's babies away? Look, sometimes they're not doing what you're... 3 times,